Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Trevor. Really grateful to have you here. And today's video is just going to be a recap of my weekly rotation this second week of August. So, had a very eventful week last week. I actually traveled out to Denver, Colorado. I was officiating a wedding for a friend out there. So really kind of, I wouldn't say I'm under the weather, but I'm definitely like recovering from jet lag, and I'm very exhausted right now. So I haven't had time to film or upload this week, but I'm happy to be back and to share with you what I was wearing. And so for Monday last week, I rocked Tom Ford's Costa Azzurra. Really perfect fragrance for the weather I've been having. As you can see back behind me, just maybe from the color scheme, it's a little bit more of an overcast summer for me, and it has been that very kind of foggy atmosphere most of the time. It almost looks like spring or autumn, but there's a lot of greenery in the air to compensate it. So this is a perfect fragrance for that because it is a very blue-green fragrance. You kind of almost get a extreme green woody overtone with some oak and cypress on top of like an Acqua di Gio Profumo sort of DNA. That kind of very aromatic marine, almost blue fragrance with an added green dimension to it, and very up-class, high-scale Tom Ford quality sort of sophistication and smell like money sort of vibe. Beautiful fragrance, and definitely one of my, probably in my top 10 for this summer of 2023. That's Tom Ford's Costa Azzurra Parfum from Monday. And Tuesday I did a video. I think it was something like 5 fragrances to stand out, and this is a standout fragrance, which is why I included it in that list. And since I shot the video that day, I decided to wear it as my fragrance of the day, as I haven't reached for it in a little while, and that is Hawthorne's Aromatic and Woody fragrance. So perfumed by the same guy that perfumed Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. This is sort of, I like to describe it as a Green Day Chanel. I actually think this smells a lot like the new Polo Intense minus the mint. So I know mint is sort of like one of the main players in that fragrance, so if you took it out it would not really be the same fragrance, and that's why this reminds me of what that would smell like if you took the mint out of it. Just like very nice musk, vetiver, like citron, violet leaf. Just has that really nice ozonic, aromatic, citrus, musky, soapy vetiver. Really nice, clean, elegant, high quality ingredient fragrance right here. Really glad that I spent some time with it on Tuesday. So that's Hawthorne's Aromatic and Woody work fragrance. Okay, so Wednesday was the last day that I was still in town and just doing my normal day-to-day, going to work and everything. Wednesdays are my night shift, so I wore a fragrance that was a little bit warmer compared to the previous 2 days, and that is Dior Sport 2021. Nice, warm, powdery woods with a certain orange kind of citrus quality in there. No orange note listed. It's lemon and bergamot and elemi resin, I think, all come together to give it that almost orangey type quality. Almost like a more sweet, more mass-appealing Terre d'Hermès in some sense. It definitely strides in that same direction. I think a lot of ISO-E Super in here as well to give it kind of that fluffy quality that it has. Again, one of my favorites for the summertime. It just has a perfect versatility, mass appeal, and Dior quality. And it's a really great deal also because you get 125 mLs from it. So that's Dior Sport 2021 for Wednesday. Okay, so Thursday is when I was flying out. I got up at like 4 a.m. to get to the flight out of Chicago. I wanted to wear something a little bit inoffensive because I was going to be on a plane, so I did a very small number of sprays of Dior Homme Original. Really kind of nice, clean, soapy iris with a powdery chocolate sweetness. Masterpiece, iconic fragrance, one of the best of all time. I haven't tried anything other than this formulation, Dior Homme Original, but you know, that combination of chocolate and soapy iris in combination with sort of that woody quality to help bring out the masculine execution of this fragrance. It just something that I'm never not gonna want to have in my collection, and performed absolutely amazing. I was still smelling this on myself well into the evening after I landed in Denver. So yeah, wore this one on the plane, landed into Denver, got to the Airbnb that we were spending with the you know, the groomsmen, and where we were staying there for that, just kind of hung out and met up with everybody, did the rehearsal dinner that evening, and that was what carried me through that day. And I had still smelling it on myself like 10 hours into that trip. So really great stuff. Dior Homme original for Thursday. Okay, so Friday was the day of the wedding, and I didn't pack any fragrances with me. I only had a carry-on book bag with like one pair of change of clothes on me, so I didn't have anything I didn't check any bags on to carry fragrances, since you can't really get them on the plane. Luckily, one of the groomsmen drove out there, and he had a bottle of Armani Code EDT. So Armani Code EDT, I'm just going to put a picture of it on the screen right over here, and that was my fragrance of the day for the wedding. A handful of us groomsmen were all wearing it. My actual first time wearing Armani Code EDT. I've tried on Zegna's Intenso, I think. It was perfumed by the same perfumer who did Prada L'Homme. That was pretty similar of a wear. The Armani Code EDT I didn't feel like had the greatest longevity, maybe like 5 to 6 hours, but really beautiful, nice, sweet, clean, sterile, no frills, very good office style fragrance. Yeah, it was just like a nice combination of sweet and clean, sort of fresh and clean, but more office style than like mass appeal, attention grabbing. Definitely something I'd be interested in getting my hands on, and now I'm really excited to look at the Parfum from that line. So that was my fragrance today for Friday at the wedding. And then after Friday night, kind of early on in the wedding, I want to say like maybe 2 hours into the dancing, I left to get to another location and flew out of Denver back to Chicago on Saturday morning. And when I landed, I luckily had this waiting for me in the mailbox that arrived Friday night, and this showed up from Joma's shop and was my fragrance of the day on Saturday. This is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Really excited to get this one. The EDT has been one of my favorites for a long time. I was really surprised to put this on. It definitely caught my... It defied my expectations. I was definitely expecting something more of like Cedrat Boisé style, sort of big punch of sweet lemon or something like that. But when I put it on, I was actually getting reminded a little bit of like Prada Luna Rossa Carbon and Davidoff Cool Water Parfum. Both of those get likened to Dior Sauvage, and then I was thinking in my head like, well, that can't be. There's no lavender in Bleu de Chanel. But then, you know, I could have sworn I was smelling lavender, and I looked up the note breakdown for the Parfum version, and sure enough, there was lavender in there. So yeah, that really took me by surprise, because for me the lavender is very prominent in here, and it kind of takes it very much away from the EDT. So now I'm really excited to try the EDP to sort of look at the progression there, since I have the two ends of the extreme on the line at the moment. But this is really beautiful, very rich, elegant. Reminds me almost even of like a more grown-up Versace Dylan Blue. Yeah, incredible wearing experience. Very nice amber in here. That was a really enjoyable part of the dry down. Very rich, woodsy, ambery, lavender, elegant, grown-up, sophisticated. Definitely a lot more of a fall and winter wear than I was expecting. I thought it might have been a little bit more fresh to be more versatile, but I definitely can see how this is more appropriate for the fall and winter. It's definitely incredibly more rich and dense than the EDT. So yeah, looking forward to getting the EDP and then doing a full review and breakdown on the line. But that was one of the most enjoyable wears of the week, Bleu de Chanel Parfum for Saturday. And Sunday, And even a little bit today, I have just been absolutely exhausted, just pooped from all the jet lag and the traveling. I was up in high elevation in the mountains at the Airbnb. I almost like got stuck out in the mountains. The car I was borrowing, like I only had like 6 miles to the gallon left, and I was like stranded up in the mountains with no service. Luckily, I found my way into some back roads and got to a gas station with 2 miles left on the tank. So it was a little bit of a stressful experience, but we survived. We're back home, and so Sunday, just trying to relax. I reached for a tea-based fragrance because tea, as a note, tends to have that relaxing quality, just kind of the nice green nature release in some sense. And so it was also a little bit warm and quite a bit more sunny and hot yesterday. So Bvlgari's Pour Homme Extreme was what carried me through the day on Sunday. Put this bad boy on, actually took a nice like 2.5 hour nap with my daughter yesterday. And then me and her went out and dined in at the restaurant and saw my wife and her mom, got some dinner and just sort of relaxed and took it really easy. And I really wish I could still do that again today, but I've got to get into work here shortly. So that was my fragrance of the day for Sunday. Really appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. Let me know what your weekly rotation was in the comment section down below, and I'll be looking forward to sharing with you again next time. Take care.